Hi everyone, Julia here with Lois.
Hi.
And we're going to talk a little bit about the Earth history narrative that we're told is how everything works, and other possibilities, including and specifically mentioning the vapor canopy. So geology in school, they teach us in geology that all the formations we see, the mountains and all the rubble everywhere, all that stuff happened over millions of years, and sometimes catastrophes within these millions of years, but most things formed in millions of years. And then there was a whole nother branch of a whole nother theory about geological features that came out in the late 1800s called catastrophism, and they said that everything happened in really big catastrophes all at once. It was punctuated equilibrium kind of thing, like with they talk about with evolution too. So anyway, they have carbon dating and uranium dating and potassium argon dating, and all those types of datings have to do. They're called radiometric dating, and they have to do with decay, radioactive decay, and they assume that radioactive decay happens the same always through millions and billions of years. And even if the atmosphere is the same, they have tested a few things, but they haven't tested things like electricity and frequency and magnetism and things like that on radioactive decay. So we can't really count on that. And written history only goes back about 7,000 years, and after that it's all speculation. So that's where we find ourselves now, because with all of Jason's research, he proposes that 5,917 years ago we had a vapor canopy situation that collapsed. And a vapor canopy is where we have a thick layer of water in our mesosphere. And when we have that, what kind of conditions do we have, Lois?
The sky in the day is dark purple, and then in the night it's all like magnified, so you could see planets, stars, the moon. And while it was there, you could not see the sun, and there was no rain, no rainbows. But in the morning, it was like all damp, like
Morning dew.
Morning dew.
Mm-hmm. And also, let's see, you heal instantly.
Yeah.
Everything grows really big, plants and animals and humans.
And women have like special powers, like they could read minds and that, and then men get super strong.
Right, all our supernatural, so-called supernatural abilities get heightened, and women are able to control minds and have a matriarch. In the last vapor canopy, it lasted over 450 years, and it was a matriarch during that period.
And you live for hundreds of years.
Right, and going back to the animals getting really large, that's where all these giant bones that they dig up and they say they're dinosaurs. What Jason claims is they're not dinosaurs, they're not millions and billions of years old, but they're only thousands of years old, and that what they were is amphibians and reptiles that grew to humongous sizes. And that's what we call our dinosaurs, and that's why you'll see and you'll find dinosaur footprints next to human footprints in places like Glen Rose, Texas. And then with the Titans, during the vapor canopy, we got to titanic sizes, and we lived hundreds of years, not tens of years. We were able to heal instantly. We had all these superhero powers, and once the vapor canopy collapsed, what happened to the offspring of Titans, Lois?
Giants, and then giants to us.
Right. And so once the vapor canopy collapsed, that's what happened. And we've had a couple of vapor canopies since then that were very short-lived, and those were some of the age of heroes that we had, where all of a sudden you had these myths about Hercules and things like that. It was these people that got all these abilities due to the ambient atmosphere during a vapor canopy, because the element composition is all different. The nitrogen, oxygen, hydrogen composition is different, and the magnetism, the electricity is different. Everything's different. So we can't even understand until we're actually in one, which Jason predicts the next one will be in the year 2040. So we will see. And what else was I going to say about that? Let's see what else is on here. So during a vapor canopy too, oh yeah, that was it. They everything is lush and green and dark. Well, it's dark during the day compared to now, but and tropical, basically humid. So it's a very tropical environment. We probably only eat fruit then because we don't need to eat, and I can't even imagine the size that fruit would get during the vapor canopy, because everything gets used. So, and all the big walls that we find everywhere in archaeology, those are to protect people from the giant animals that were hunting them during vapor canopy periods. So it's a very interesting way that Archaix puts this vapor canopy into our history that he's done with his chronology, and he's done it with a lot of research. He just hasn't pulled it out of the air and brought it up. And there are fundamental Christian groups that talk about how Genesis talks about a vapor canopy, and there's like really old videos about that. So that concept's really not new, but to actually find evidence of it in the history and deduce when the last ones were is pretty cool, and Jason's done that in his Chronicon. And then one last thing about the vapor canopy is that there's a lot of species living underground, according to Jason and lots of others, and a lot of those species can't survive in the atmosphere that we have now. But once we have the vapor canopy atmosphere again, then
they'll come out.
Right, they can come out again. So some of them might be benefactors, some of them might not be. So yeah, it's interesting times, like interesting time now and ahead, and we'll see if this really happens in 2040, that we go back to another vapor canopy. But yeah, that's a little bit about vapor canopy. And if you have anything to add, I know there's some people out there that follow Archaix. Please do, and thanks for listening, and I hope you have a great morning, afternoon, or evening wherever you are. And remember to stay focused on what you want and help others if you can. Ciao, ciao.